when I get onto Steam and I see Chrono Cross, the Radical Dreamers edition, sitting there right alongside my Chrono Trigger game, it hits me with a bigger than I imagined sense of emotion. It's like the game means so much to me, despite being a game I played relatively not long ago. Again, with the physical copy of the game, I played through Chrono Cross for the first time last year. But the thing is, it's not often I play through a game, that doesn't leave my mind long after I've beaten it. We're months into the next year already. It is now 2022 at the time of watching this, and it is now a lot of time has passed. I've been able to really solidify my feelings on the game. However you may feel, anybody watching this, maybe you've played the game before, maybe you're going to be experiencing it for the first time, maybe you've played Chrono Trigger and excited, to be able to play this for the first time. Again, the game has been re-released in a long freaking time, and for some people around the world, you never got it. Like, I believe the European countries, they've never gotten to play this game. It never came out over there. And the reason why it hits so hard, I feel too, for me, is that I get to experience this new version of this game like the people who already experienced it. I'm not on the outside looking in. I'm on the inside looking out at everybody who's experiencing it for the first time, going in not knowing what to expect. Chrono Cross is a sequel that didn't attempt to beat Chrono Trigger 2. That's the main thing I've come to realize now that I've beaten this game. Everybody that goes into this is hoping for Chrono Trigger 2, but that's not what the team behind Chrono Cross were aiming to create. They wanted to make Chrono Cross, and for some, that in itself is a disappointment, and that's completely fine. And most people want sequels to game, take what the first game did and expand upon it, which in a lot of areas this game does. But in terms of story and world and even combat, the game, we're not in Guardia in this game. The main character isn't Chrono, and the combat is completely different than Chrono Trigger, and the thing is, like, some people will try to say, like someone in the chat now saying, there's a stipulation that you can play this game without knowledge for Chrono Trigger. And in a way, you're right. But at the same time, I would never recommend that. I could never. And at first, a lot of my experience, I did feel that you could do that. But then, around the halfway point of the story, or once you start realizing more about the characters, you realize that you kind of can't do that, or you start missing a big chunk of things. There's going to be this lingering sense of, I didn't fully understand what was happening, So yes, you can beat this game without beating Chrono Trigger. You can, and you can still enjoy the game. But know that if you do that, you will be missing part of the story. Part of the impact that they intended when writing this story will not hit for you. You don't know about I hit the mic. You don't know about those characters. You don't know about what happened before. Chrono Trigger is a story about action. We have a goal in mind, and we run to the ends of the earth and to the ends of time itself to achieve said goal. And Chrono Cross is a game about the consequences of those actions. What does it mean for the rest of the world once you save it? Because we set out to change time in Chrono Trigger, what happened to those people who already experienced the end of the world? What happened to them? When we changed time, where did that changed time go? Where did those people we met go? Our party member Robo, he was from that bad future. So whatever happened to him? If he was built after the world ended, will there ever be a reason to build his line of robots anymore? What about all those people, the children whose father died trying to find food, in this broken civilization? Will he ever be born? The situations of our birth are complete miracles. Every single person watching this video or stream, is only here by a miracle by watching this video. You know, you were only born on this planet at this time because of the circumstances of your birth. Your parents did what they had to do, and because they did it at that exact moment, you ended up winning out. You know, millions of other different versions of you could have been born in that instance, but you came into being. And that's the thing about this game. This game tackles that philosophy and lets you realize the consequences of meddling with that, you know? And again, it was all thanks to my friend Gimma the Samurai really, really making that land home for me. You know, I realized this while playing, but it wasn't until sometimes, you know, when you play a game or watch a movie or read a book, you really sit on something and new realizations of what you experience really came into being. And Chrono Cross isn't just a game, it's an experience. And while it aims to tell a radically different story than Chrono Trigger, it will no doubt give you a story that will give you a different perspective on actions we take in life and the results of said actions. Everything we do leads to an outcome. And in a large majority of this kind of sense, we don't really have control over said action. And that's okay. We don't need to control every instance of our life, but I think we should enjoy the time that we have living it, because maybe there's a version of reality where we aren't here and people had to go on without us. Our parents never had us. Our friends never met us. Our neighbors, you know, never lived beside us. And I think that goes to show you that everyone should appreciate the life we live. And overall, don't take it for granted. If you have something you want to do, set out and do it. You know, don't beat around the bush. Don't waste time. We don't know when our final day will be here, but anticipation for that final day isn't how we should live either. You know, don't live in fear of the end. Go ahead and just do what you have to do. Make the best out of each day. You know, be somebody that will be remembered when you're gone, you know, and that shouldn't be something to be feared. That's not something you should have to worry about or stress about or anything. Just make the most out of today. And that's really what Chrono Cross wants to say. And what I kind of wanted to share without spoiling. Without spoiling. I'm sorry. I know we just got super freaking deep about a freaking PS1 game, but man, I can't help it. Chrono Cross is a game that takes that kind of stuff seriously. And while it may take that stuff seriously in the sense that we got a talking rabbit dog and a little bubble-shaped space alien and a talking scarecrow and, you know, and somebody's auntie who hit somebody in the face with a pan and folds them up like laundry, you know, it may have all that silliness included, but dang it, Chrono Cross is one of the greatest games I have ever played. And I think every fan of the genre, JRPGs, every fan of it should try this game. Every single one. Of course, the same can be said of Chrono Trigger, of course, as well, because again, everything that happens in Cross is because of what we did in Trigger. Everything. So you owe it to yourself. Play this game. Play this game. Chrono Cross is one of the best games of all time. And I can't wait for some of you guys to be able to share your experiences of the game with me. Maybe you'll be also more deep and methodical than you realize you could be. So we can all laugh at ourselves a little bit. But thank you, Square Enix. Thank you, Masato Kato, and everybody else behind the Radical Dreamers edition. You know, other people may have things to say about this version of the game. Maybe the backgrounds weren't as upscale as they wanted. Maybe it was bare bones. But dang it, the fact that this game has been preserved a lot longer and now we don't have to worry about this game being lost to time anymore, I think that's a beautiful thing, you know, regardless of anything else, you know. And hey, if you have it on PC, maybe they'll give it the same treatment they give Final Fantasy IX and Final Fantasy VII. You know, fans who love the game will show that love in whatever avenue they can. And I think that's a great thing too. I love the Chrono series so much.